Greetings interwebs, it's Jackie K, and welcome for another edition of Amiiko. Apologies for pretty much putting this series on the side burner for a while, but I think if I just get right back into it, and at least talk about my opinions on Amiibos once a week, that will be a good start. Feel free to throw your own suggestions of things I should do for Amiiko. For those of you who haven't heard of the show before, this is my show where I do anything Amiibo related, whether it's talking about the latest news, showcase Amiibos, battles, share some of my customs, things like that. To start off with, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct, because there was a few Amiibo related news that came out of there. Starting with the one I have the least to talk about, a new series of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. I'll be honest with you guys, I have not gotten into the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. One, there's something more impressive about owning a figurine, and that's the only reason I can think of I actually got an Animal Crossing Amiibo, despite number two being I don't own any games that are compatible with them. I just cannot get myself to put the money into the board game. Shoot. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, that's what it's called. And I don't own Happy Room Designer either. So there's not really any sense for me to have it besides maybe Mario Maker. But even that's a stretch. This is great news for the people who do collect the Amiibo cards though. It has an interesting mechanic. Reminds me of the good old Pokemon cards games, hearing all my friends on social media talking about trading cards with each other. People bring all their spares to conventions to trade. It's almost like reliving the good old days of being a kid. Anywho, I could go on a tangent about that, but I do want to keep these short and focused. So let's move on to the other major Amiibo announcement that stuck in my mind. At the very end of the Nintendo Direct, we got news about a new Kirby game, which I am really looking forward to. I don't know why. Modern Kirby games really just haven't caught my attention like the old ones do, but this one just really stands out. It's a lot more vibrant, colorful, even though it looks exactly the same as the previous Kirby games. There is something to it, but I know the elephant in the room. The whole gimmick there, I call it, where Kirby's entire antagonists in the game are robots, and he can actually jump into some of them and take over them, and even incorporate copy abilities into it. It's really interesting. And between that and just something about the game, this is probably going to be the Kirby game I get back into. Because I'll admit the previous 3DS game caught my interest, but I just never took the time to save money up for it. But I get the feeling this is going to be the game that gets me back into Kirby. And the Amiibo certainly help with that. From what we could see in the trailer, it looks like when you scan Amiibos into the game, it's gonna give Kirby special copy abilities. And the fun part is that it's not just exclusive to the new Kirby Amiibos. Like one example they showed was you could tap a Mario Amiibo into there and Kirby would gain the firepower. Real excited to try that out. As for the actual Kirby Amiibos, I don't know, I mean, I shouldn't get them, I don't need them, I don't need them, but I want them! Seriously though, I might get the Kirby, because even though I have a Kirby Amiibo already, the new one looks so nice, and it would give me a chance to customize a Kirby Amiibo to have like a different hat or something, and I wouldn't have to limit myself to just making clay hats to go on top of my current Kirby's head. And Wildy looks kind of nice too. You know, I was gonna say I wasn't interested in King Deity and Meta Knight because they already exist in the Smash line, but I don't actually have either of those, so I might pick up one of those two. I don't plan on getting them all, but considering I've expressed interest in getting 3 of the 4, it might just happen. We'll see. It all depends on where my money is when the time comes for them to come out. I do gotta confess though, I have not seen a game that really makes use out of the amiibos like Super Smash Bros. Did. And that's kinda disappointing because that was my favorite thing about the amiibos. Sure, they might be nice to collect, they might be cool to customize, but the primary purpose of me getting into them in the first place is to use them with the video games. And a lot of games, you just use them for scanning in, which is fine when you have one amiibo that can be used across multiple games, I suppose. But I feel like we haven't really had a game that fully takes advantage of the software inside of it in a good long time. I mean, the two games that I saw that caught my interest were Mario Party 10 and Mario Open Tennis. Shoot, I keep mixing up the 3DS. I don't even know if it's a 3DS. Yeah, it is a 3DS game. But I keep mixing that up with the new Wii U one. But I'm talking about the Wii U one. I got the Wii U Mario Tennis game for Christmas, and I am honestly disappointed with it. It's not bad, it's just incredibly lackluster. And I feel like the amiibo functions are pointless. You can only use it in a single player mode, or you can use it online as a replacement for another person for multiplayer. But you can't use it in the actual multiplayer games, so if you want to have a tennis match with your friends, you can't use the amiibos in that, but you can use them online, and it just seems so... Why did they take the time to program it to work for online multiplayer, but not local multiplayer? And you don't really... I was under the impression you would be able to get a lot more control with raising your amiibo in that game, when in all reality you kind of just... It's kind of just there. It's very useless for the first levels or so. Kind of just stands around. The AI is supposed to get better as it levels up, and I can kind of see that. But it's just, you don't really feel like you have to control over it like you do in Smash Brothers. Which is, it's disappointing because I've heard a lot of the things about the Mario Tennis game already, and yet what made me actually not necessarily buy it, but want to ask for it for Christmas and things like that, was the amiibo functions. So to play the game and find that the amiibo functions are pretty much as lackluster as the rest of the game really disappoints me. What doesn't seem so disappointing though, I did forget about one game, because it's not out yet. They talked about it in a direct though, and I'm really excited to hear it. It's the new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, except it's called Mini Mario and Friends. First off, it's a completely free game, which is exciting in itself, especially considering amiibos are pretty much required to play it. So, if you already have amiibos for other games, you're set. If not, you still are paying under the normal retail cost of a downloadable game. I gotta admit to you guys, I heard about this game before the Nintendo Direct, and I've been excited for it ever since I first heard of it. The Direct only made me more excited. The only downside is, well, the major downside is they're doing a promotion where you can get the game early if you buy an amiibo at the particular time of the promotion, which, for someone who's probably going to be getting one or two more amiibos before the craze is over, that ain't even a problem for me. If I'm not interested at the time, I can just wait. But I know that's going to really bother a lot of people. I mean, it's pretty much indirectly making you pay to get early access to it. That's a concept I don't like on paper. I think in practice it won't be so bad though, especially considering the game's gonna be free anyways. Only other qualm I have about the game is that it's not gonna be making use out of the right function of Amiibos. And while I want more games to take full advantage of the right function that Amiibos have, I'm not gonna hold the game to it, especially considering it just wouldn't work for this type of game. So I'll take it for what it is. Especially the free part. And let me get this out of the way before people in the comments go, "Oh, Dragon K is not really free since you have to have at least one Amiibo, and the Amiibos cost at least 10 bucks. Well, let me tell you about another series where figures are required called Skylanders, and how you're basically expected to buy a bundle pack. They don't sell the game separately for that particular reason, because they know you need a figure to play the game. But those bundles do cost more than a typical retail game. So if you already have an Amiibo, which considering Amiibos are more cross-compatible with a wider variety of games compared to Skylanders, and we're not even talking about a game that needs Amiibos from Rare Series or anything. You don't need a Fox Amiibo or a rare holographed Cloud in order to play this game. It runs on Mario Amiibos, and not just like Mario, Luigi. Pretty much any character that's been associated with the Mushroom Kingdom is going to be compatible for this game. So we're basically getting a free game for a series that, if you had any interest in collecting Amiibos, you probably own one that'll work for it already. And if you don't, it won't be too hard to find one. Trust me, I find Marios and Peaches all the time at Walmart of all places. Heck, considering that it's going to be of the more common series, you might even be able to find one for a reduced price. That's going to be it for Amiiko this week though. I do apologize. In the future I'm going to keep these around 10 minutes, but I can't help but go on that rant about the game, because I'm really excited about the mini Mario game, way more than I should be, but considering how much I've been playing Skylanders recently, I've been looking for a game that really involves Amiibos. And this might be the closest game we get, despite the fact that it's very likely to be a read-only game. Yeah, it might be surprising, but I actually find pros and cons to both Amiibos and Skylanders. But I think that's a story for another day. Until then though, I'll see you all later.